Throughout my 36 years of living, I've learned that a few things do well in pairs, right? There's Lucy and Ethel, there's Tom and Jerry, there's even peanut butter and jelly. But when I think about lobster, there's only one thing that goes really good, and that's garlic. And today, I'm gonna put the two together in a combination that'll have your next dinner obsession on the dinner table in under 20 minutes. And of course, everything we do, you know, it's gotta be simple, delicious, easy, and just good food. So let's get started, all right? So I have a pot, and I'm gonna fill it up with some water. All right, now this is for our pasta that we're gonna cook. So I'm just gonna put the pot on and get the water boiling. All right, there we go. Let's start the saute on our pancetta. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a few tablespoons of olive oil right into this pan. I've just got regular diced pancetta right from the deli section of my grocery store. So I'm gonna add the pancetta right to this oil. All right, I'm just gonna give it a stir. And I've got some onion, bell pepper, celery that's been diced. I'm gonna add this to the pan as well. All right, that's already starting to look good, starting to smell good. I've got one more element that I wanna add. I've got the onion, the bell pepper, the pancetta is all working. So I have the garlic over here. So I have a few cloves. I'm just gonna slice down the size, and I'm gonna add the garlic right into this pan as well. All right, I'll give the whole thing a stir, and I'll cook it just until that pancetta is all the way cooked through. All right, so look, we have our pancetta is cooked all the way through. Our water has come to a boil. So what I wanna do now is I wanna put some salt into the water because we really wanna get a chance to flavor the pasta. You know, I have two golden rules: over salt the water and then undercook the pasta. So we're gonna put in a fair amount. And then for our sauce, so I'm gonna put some herbs in. So I've got some fresh thyme that's gonna go right in here, a couple of sprigs. And then I've also got some fresh basil. So I'm just gonna chop the basil up and get it right into our sauce. Let's turn this actual flavor base into a sauce, all right? And we'll do that a couple of different ways. The fun part for me is I've got some white wine. I'm gonna put some of that in here. All right, and then equal parts of seafood stock is gonna go right in. Stock in a box is fine. You don't have to make your own. All right, just like that. And the only thing I'm gonna season this with is just a little bit of black pepper because it's got all types of good stuff already happening right in there. While that's cooking, let's talk about our pasta. Water's boiling, it's nice and salty. So I'm just gonna dump the pasta right into the boiling water. All right, so I've gone ahead and drained off the pasta so that it could cool down slightly, and it's gonna be really good. Now let's talk about the lobster tails, because this is the good part, right? Well, listen, all of it's the good part, but this is the really good part. Let me show you how this works, all right? So I'm gonna take this guy, and you gotta get a sharp knife, hold him real good, and I'm gonna make an incision on the bottom part, just like that, all the way through, all right? And then I'm gonna come around on the other side and do the same thing through this part of the shell. And if we did this correctly, we now have two parts to our lobster, right? One part here, and the other part is here. I'm gonna do the same thing with this guy so that you can actually see it a second time, all right? So here we go. All right, and I'm gonna flip them over and do the same thing on this side, all the way through, and there you go. We now have perfectly split lobster tail. All right, so let's talk about how we're going to season this guy up. So I've got some olive oil, right? So we're just gonna do a nice drizzle of olive oil in the pan, just like that. All right, and then for our seasonings, very, very simple. Old Bay, classic when it comes to lobster, right? So let's do some Old Bay in here, a little bit of garlic powder in here. Let's get some salt down into the action as well. All right, now let's just give it a toss. All right, and let's take the lobster and the cream and let's go to town, all right? So before I grill the lobster, let's take a look at the sauce, right? So that seafood stock and that white wine has had a chance to reduce really nicely, all right, with the basil and the thyme. All I'm gonna do to finish the sauce, well, the second to last thing, is I'm gonna add in some heavy cream right into our pan. All right, we'll let the cream work its magic, thicken up nicely. In the meantime, let's grill some lobster. All right, so the lobster's doing amazingly well. The sauce is doing good. I'm just gonna reduce the heat on the sauce now because I don't want it to like burn or scorch. And I got a little bit of cornstarch slurry, just cornstarch and water mixed together. I'm just gonna pour this in so we thicken up our sauce nicely. Because you want the sauce to hug the pasta, right? So that looks good. All right, let's add some cheese. Parmesan cheese, fresh Parmesan cheese. None of that stuff in a bottle or can or whatever. Don't use that, all right? All right, give that a stir. Look at that. Look how lovely that sauce looks with that Parmesan cheese situation happening. All right, so here's the pasta. Pasta's ready to go right into the sauce. Get in there. We'll give this a stir to combine it. All right, so I think there's only one thing left for us to do, and that's to go ahead and plate this bad boy up. Let's do that, okay? Here we go. Look at this lovely pasta with the notes of the white wine. Oh, that heavy cream. I mean, you know what time it is, okay? Look at this. The lovely grilled lobster tails. These go right on top. Tender, delicate, and juicy, all right? Along with some of this pasta. This is spinach fettuccine, by the way. Look at that. All right. You know, I always say that I have a tough job. This time I really mean it. All right, here we go. I don't even have words. I literally don't even have words for how good this is. The pasta is cooked really, really well. The sauce is super creamy. The pancetta is nice and salty. The basil, the thyme, comes through. And the char on the grilled lobster is fantastic. Listen, recipes like this, you know where they're gonna be on my website. It's www.dariuscooks.tv. Listen, there are two things I gotta tell you, as I always do. Food is my life, it's my food, y'all. Until next time, I wanna wish you happy cooking from my heart to yours. Bye, y'all.